name is Morgan. If this is your first time watching, you can jump over to my first YouTube video while I'm on YouTube, but basically in a nutshell, this is a YouTube channel for women of all ages to encourage and inspire you on your journey in life. And today I wanted to talk about a very hot topic, something that I think women of all ages experience, and that is fear and anxiety. Something that's very yucky and nobody really likes to talk about it, but is a real thing. And all of a sudden one day, Willow, she's almost 3, that's my daughter, if you can't hear her banging, she's in the other room supposed to be taking a nap, but it sounds like she's having a party. But anyway, I was watching Frozen with her for like the kajillionth time, and something in me just like clicked, and the Lord was just downloading what I felt like something that I needed to hear first, and then I thought, oh, I should share this. If you haven't seen Frozen, I feel like every girl from the age of like 3 to in her 30s has seen Frozen. But if you haven't, it's a movie about a girl named Elsa, and she has powers more or less, and her powers tend to spiral out of control when she becomes afraid. So from a young age, she starts wearing gloves to mask those powers, and her parents shut her away and keep her away, and she loses relationship with her sister. And all these years pass, and it's time for Elsa to become queen. So they have this big party, and her sister Anna comes to her and wants to marry this guy. She thinks she knows what true love is, and she's found true love. And, Elsa says, no, I don't give you permission to get married. You don't know what true love is. And as she's walking away, Anna rips her glove off, and you can just kind of see the fright come over Elsa's face, that she does not want this thing in her life to be exposed. And so Anna goes to grab her hand, and I don't know, something happens. She goes like this with her hands, and ice shoots out, and all of a sudden her powers are exposed. So what does Elsa do? What does anybody do when we feel like the mask is removed and the ugliness of our life has been revealed? We run, we flee from that, we try to cover it back up. So that's exactly what Elsa does. She starts running, and everywhere she goes, every step she takes, the ice follows behind her, more or less. So she runs away, and finally she gets as far as she can, and the most famous song in history, Let It Go, comes on, and she sings about how free she is, and this is the most incredible experience for her, that people know about her life now, and it's out there, and she has nothing to hide. And when I thought about that, I was like, sometimes in life, what is such freedom for us can really hurt the people around us. But ultimately, in the end, that brings freedom for everyone, and even freedom for the people that we were trying to protect. And so I just thought that was really awesome. So anyway, to the end of the movie, Elsa gets captured, and lots of more frozenness goes on, and in the end, her sister Anna is frozen. And what saves Anna is a hug from Elsa and an act of true love. And so in the end, love heals that relationship. Love brings them back together, and Elsa learns that the things in her life do not have to be managed by fear. That's Willow. They don't have to be managed by fear, but through love, those our weaknesses can be exposed, and we can learn how to work through that. So I just kind of wanted to give you the rundown on the movie and kind of speak about the movie in terms of my life and give you some scriptures. So let's get into that. I never, and I hate that I'm even saying this, but I used to hear people say like, yeah, I have anxiety, or yeah, I struggle with fear, I struggle with anxiety. And I would always ask Stephen, like, why are they saying that? Like, I have fear, I have anxiety, like it's something that's a part of them that they're trying to work through. Because I would always, I honestly, I never really thought that was a real thing. I'm like, anxiety, like, you're just uptight, chill, But it definitely is a real thing, and it was introduced in my life when I was pregnant with Milo. And one day I was at the swimming pool. I think I was about 8 months, 7.5. 7, Steven's going like this-ish, so maybe 6.5, 7 months pregnant. And it was summertime, and Willow and I were at the swimming pool in our neighborhood. We were the only ones there, and, mind you, at this time, Willow was not even 2, so she didn't know how to swim. She still doesn't know how to swim. And we were eating lunch there by the pool, and all of a sudden, like, I felt this numbness start coming up through my neck, and I was like, what is that? And I started to feel, and all of a sudden there was like a big lump forming here on my neck. So instantly I start panicking like I've never panicked before. Here I am pregnant. I'm at the swimming pool with my little girl who doesn't know how to swim, and we're there by ourselves. So instantly I start thinking, I'm having an allergic reaction to something, my throat's gonna close up, I'm gonna die here at the pool, I'm pregnant, the baby's gonna die, Willow's gonna fall into the swimming pool, and she's gonna die. So Steven's gonna come home from work and go from like a family of almost 3 to 0. So I call Steven, I'm like, I'm calling 911 right now, I don't know what's going on. Even talking about this just like makes my hands clammy, because it's like reliving it all over again. So he's like, what's going on? Calm down, calm down. So I explained to him what's going on, and instead of calling the ambulance, I pick Willow up, and I'm in my bathing suit, very pregnant, and I'm running from house to house in the neighborhood trying to find someone that's home that can, let me come in case something were to happen to me. So I find a lady that's home. She lets me come in. She gives me some Benadryl, got me to calm down. Steven got there. Long story short, I was fine. Obviously, I lived. So did Willow and Milo. The doctors told me that I had a clogged saliva gland and that I had a stone there. And basically, I guess that's something that can happen when you're pregnant. The electrolytes in your body get thrown off, and pregnancy does all kinds of weird things to your body anyway. So, so I was fine, but that experience was still there for me. So time and time again, when I would eat or if I were home alone, I would feel like that was starting to happen again. And so got to the point where I never wanted to be alone. I didn't want to be alone with the kids. I was afraid something was going to happen to me. And it kind of subsided for a while. I thought things were good, and then one day out of nowhere, here it comes again. And it's like back into the whole cycle again. And Stephen was about to go out of town, and I was so afraid to even be here by myself with the kids. We traveled from like place to place just to keep from me having to be here by myself. I finally was like, I don't know if this is in my head or if this really is something that is happening. So, it's embarrassing to say, but I have a bill downstairs that I could show you for $550 for the ENT, because I was going from appointment to appointment trying to figure out if there really was something wrong with me. And coincidentally enough, like, there was something wrong with me, but it wasn't related with that at all. The ENT says, like, I need surgery on my nose, and, I don't know if I'll ever have that done. And it has nothing to do with what I felt like I was experiencing. So, it was an expensive price to pay, and I know that it was just fear. And I remember calling my mom one morning because this is something that she'd experienced, fear and anxiety like that. And she just said, Morgan, what's the worst that you think can happen? And I was like, that's a good question. I really don't know. I said, I guess the worst thing that could happen to me is, I'm going to die and the kids are going to be here and, they're going to watch me die and it's just going to be this tragic thing. And she was like, well, exactly. That's the worst thing that can happen is you can die and you know where you're going. I was like, oh, thanks, Mom. Okay, I'm going to die and go to heaven. Like, all is well. But it was kind of like a gentle reminder to me that, like, I definitely am in God's hands. Like, He's holding me, He's keeping me. And so there are some scriptures that I wanted to give you, and the first one is, I'm sure everyone in the universe has heard. It's Philippians 4:6-7, and I'm going to read two versions. My Bible is NIV. I almost said NBI because my Bible is Spanish and English, which I don't ever read the Spanish. But I went on this big kick for a while. I was like, oh, I'm going to learn Spanish and read the Bible in Spanish, and that never happened. So I look like I have a really big, intense Bible, but it's just because it's Spanish and English. Anyway, so Philippians 4:6-7 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And I also want to read the Message translation. Says, don't fret or worry. Instead of worrying, pray. Let petitions and praises shape your worries into prayers, letting God know your concerns. Before you know it, a sense of God's wholeness, everything coming together for good, will come and will settle you down. I love that when it says it will come and settle you down. It's wonderful what happens when Christ displaces worry at the center of your life. So it doesn't matter, what age you are that you're watching this. Worries can be big and small. Could be from, who am I going to sit with at lunch today, to, being a mom and how am I going to get through this day, or, feeling like me, something's wrong with you, you're going to die. It could be finances. I don't know, big or small. But I just love when it says, before you know it, a sense of God's wholeness, everything coming together for good, will come and settle you down. When it says everything coming together for good, that is going to happen. God is going to do that. So I want to leave you with that today, that God is going to work everything out for your good. And when you feel that fear and that anxiety come over you, recite that scripture. Recite Philippians 4:6-7 about not worrying and not being anxious, and to let God's goodness just come over you and calm you, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And I want to leave that with you today. If you haven't seen Frozen, go and watch it, because we're going to be talking about this again next week, about that fear and that anxiety and overcoming that. And thanks for joining me today. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, share this. Go over to Facebook and check out the Facebook group Willow's Roots. Follow me on all social media, which is down below. And have a great week, y'all. Bye.